You're listening to an archived Cabral Concept podcast. After listening to this show, check out the most up-to-date podcasts available at stephencabral.com/podcasts or search directly on iTunes. And now, welcome to the Cabral Concept, where board-certified naturopath and integrative health practitioner Dr. Stephen Cabral shares how he was diagnosed at the age of 17 with a life-altering illness and given no hope for recovery. It was only after studying and traveling all over the world did he discover how to combine ancient Ayurvedic healing practices with state-of-the-art naturopathic and functional medicine to fully rebalance the body and re-energize it with life. It's time to discover how to get well, lose weight, and finally feel alive again. And now, here's your host, Dr. Stephen Cabral.
Hi, everyone, and welcome back to our Friday review. So happy to have you with me here today. Looking forward to getting into today's show, which will hopefully be action-packed for you. We've got a lot of brand new research, one of my favorite exercise stretching-based devices to product review for you today, and then getting to be one of our last super nutrients of the week. So we have 2 more weeks or so before the end of the year, before the year closes out, and I'm bringing you one of my favorite super nutrients that I can't wait to share today. So before we get into the research, the product reviews, and our super nutrient of the week, which has been proven to help with everything from cholesterol, type 2 diabetes, blood pressure, IBS-based symptoms, let's talk about what's been going on over the past week in the practice, what's been going on with our online community to get you up to speed if you haven't seen any of the emails or you haven't checked into CabralSupportGroup.com lately. So, last Wednesday, just 2 days ago, not last Wednesday, yet this past Wednesday, we launched based on your reviews. Literally, your feedback came into us, and you asked for the Dr. Cabral Detox and a chocolate flavor. So that was not an easy thing to put together, believe it or not. We had to change inventory. Our inventory is made fresh every month to 2 months. So we had to put it in a different order for that. That turnaround time is anywhere from 12 to 16 weeks. Believe it or not, that's 3 to 4 months. And we sold out of the Detox in the beginning of December. The good news is that we are back in stock. We are shipping on December 28th for the Detox, and that will be in time for our community detox on January 7th. What is our community detox? Well, that is when, again, you don't have to do it on this date, 4 times per year, every season, just like we talked about in Ayurvedic-based medicine, we do a detox. We basically hit the reset button. So after the holidays, things can start to sneak up and they start to snowball and you've gained a little bit of weight or there's a little bit of inflammation or puffiness or brain fog or fatigue or just kind of feeling like not yourself, a little bit blah that we hear all the time in our practice. So what we do in the second week or third week of January, whenever it works for you, could even be January 1st if you decided. We hit the reset button, and we do that 4 times a year. We do it in January, end of March, or early April, right before the 4th of July in the summertime, and then we do our fall detox in mid-September. These are amazing times, amazing events. You can head on over to CabralSupportGroup.com, and during those 7 days, we are essentially posting in the group. We're sharing our feedback, how we're doing. We're offering support to others. We're sharing our success stories, and people do a 7, 14, or 21-day detox. That's completely up to them. So all of those will be ready to ship out on December 28th. We're working really hard through the holidays with our manufacturer and our shipping company since we get all the raw materials, then we have someone put it all together for us, and then of course we ship now to 20 countries all over the world that we hire a really great logistics company for. But my team is super excited, and so am I, to be able to produce and launch the new chocolate Dr. Cabral Detox. For the past 3 years, it has been the vanilla only. And we did that for a very specific reason. One is because, we started out as quite a small company that was just doing this for our wellness center offline in Boston. And then we've grown and we've been able to now offer this all around the world. And the other part is that the chocolate detox can be great for many, many people, especially those that are brand new to functional medicine or brand new to supplements, and they want more of that chocolate-based flavor. It's more palatable to them. Then great. The only people we wouldn't recommend the chocolate for, and there's always a contraindication for everyone out there and every product, are those people that have a lot of issues with histamines or allergies, and they get itchy eyes and itchy throat, and they're affected by nuts or chocolate. And if you have an allergy to chocolate, well, then you shouldn't use this chocolate powder because it has an organic cacao in there, a very clean, obviously organic cacao powder, but it's still chocolate. It's the cleanest source you can get with no artificial sweeteners or any sweeteners added to it, except for the organic sugar, the natural sugar that's added, which is only 2 grams. That's it. So it won't affect blood sugar levels. So that's that. We're just really excited about that. But that was feedback from our community that's happened over the past year. And although we can't always make it happen the next month, we are community-based. It's very different than a lot of companies. Like, this is about our community. And if this is something that you want, we will make it happen. The next thing that we know that you want are essentially snack bars or, to-go bars, so that when you can't make your best choice possible because you're traveling or whatever it might be, you want a bar that you can feel good about eating. So we're in production with that. We're actually not in production with that. We are in the process of getting the best quality ingredients, simple ingredients like 4, 5, 6 ingredients tops, all natural, no artificial sugars, not refined, and it's going to be a whole food bar. And it has to taste good too, right? I mean, that's part of it. So we're in production with that. That's going to take a couple months. And the reason is we are going to have multiple focus groups for taste testing, and then we are going to produce this, which will take about 8 to 12 weeks as well. So we're probably 4 months or so away from that, maybe 5 months, but we're excited because, again, that's something based on your feedback. That's what you're looking for. And, of course, we want to be able to produce the best quality product. All right, so we have our upcoming Detox, January 7th. Pre-sale orders are being taken now at equilibriumnutrition.com. Any orders taken over this week will also be the first ones to ship out on December 28th. So excited about that. The next one is the CBD coffee. We've already gotten our first people to come back with their results, and we're excited that not only do you love the flavor of the coffee, because that's important as well, but both the decaf, which is an organic Mexican single source bean, and the regular caffeinated coffee, both medium roasts, and the regular one coming from single source organic Peruvian beans. So happy to hear that you're enjoying that in your Chemex, your French press, your drip coffee, your AeroPress, however you like to make your coffee. But the other part is that you're getting and enjoying the benefits of using the CBD coffee without the jitters, without the anxiety, without the ramped up in the heart rate, any one of those sympathetic nervous system dominant activities, because the CBD is helping to counteract that. So that's what it's all about. It's not about trying to get you to use one more thing. It's certainly not. But if you're drinking coffee right now and you want less of those sympathetic nervous system anxiety and what's another good word for it? Basically the jitters, right? The revved up that you get from coffee, that actually does a lot. That's a lot of stress in your nervous system and your adrenal glands. So the CBD is a great way to help balance that. And that's why we came out with this product, is because it's a first in the market. It's an exclusive to Equilibrium Nutrition. And this is literally a 500 milligram bottle of CBD oil, organic, full spectrum, that's added to these beans. It's actually soaked into the beans, which is brand new and at a great cost savings. This would cost you at least double if you were to go to your local coffee shop and they were adding CBD oil to that. So for all CBD products, the CBD oil, which again, if you're not a coffee drinker, no need to start drinking the coffee. You know that I'm honest with you always. You just can use the CBD oil. You don't have to drink the coffee. And so for all CBD products, they're available not on equilibriumnutrition.com for now until we get clearance from the powers to be. They're on stevencabral.com/CBD-store. You can find those right there. So, all right, those are the updates on that. The last one is this, that the Integrative Health Practitioner Certification is reopening for the first of the year. We're excited about that. We will either be opening on January 1st, New Year's Day, or January 2nd, depending on when our team can get that up and running, because, of course, we want people to enjoy the holidays themselves as well. So the designer has to be able to put that up, and we have to have the email support and all those things. So if we open on January 1st, it will essentially be, a quiet opening for those people that want to get in and get started right away. And then January 2nd, when everyone is back to work with my team, we will be answering all of the emails and helping you with all of those things as well. So we'll obviously state that. We're happy to help you with that, but we can't wait. 2019 is going to be a huge year for integrative health practitioners. We have our first group of level 1 certified practitioners graduating this month, so that's super exciting. Those are absolutely the people who were just saying, okay, every week I'm going to make sure that I get in the new module. And so I'm really excited about that they got through that in 12 weeks. And our level 2 is opening in the beginning of February. And this will take your level 1 education, your foundation of the diet, the exercise, the stress reduction, the toxin removal, the parasympathetic nervous system activities, the emotional balance, the supplement protocols that we use in my exact practice, and the success mindset. Now, we'll take all of that, and then we'll use it for bio-individualized programming based on functional medicine lab testing. And I know that's a mouthful, but basically, we're going to empower our health coaches, our integrative health practitioners, to be able to read the organic acids test, the hair tissue mineral analysis, the thyroid adrenal hormone, omega-3, and the stool test, I believe, and the food test as well. So those ones are the labs that we are offering. So basically, it's the big five plus the stool test. And we can't wait. We honestly can't. We're just trying to make it as easy as possible to ensure that we help more people. And that's the truth. So we're hiring people from IHP. We are also, again, giving them that power all throughout the world to be able to provide this type of health coaching to others. So really excited about that. I mean, this is the time. I mean, this industry is just getting bigger and bigger. And the reason is this. People are tired of being on medication. They're tired of how they feel on medication, and they're tired of not getting the results they want. They want a full, well-rounded program. Well, I can't think of another program that encompasses all forms of medicine, and it does so from a truly holistic and integrative standpoint, meaning that it looks at all of your exercise, all of your nutrition. It brings everything together. Your sleep, everything is included. So excited about that, and the feedback we've gotten has just been tremendous. It's one of my favorite things to do is pop into the exclusive IHP membership group that we have, where people are providing their feedback and they're asking questions and they're supporting each other. It's amazing. And so I like to head in there as well a couple times a week, answer questions, communicate, and then we do a monthly, every 4 to 6 weeks, we do a live Q&A day. And then we repost those in case you're not able to make it. So it's about an hour live Q&A where I answer our community's, the integrative health practitioner questions about questions they have, questions about their clients, things like that. So it's really a humbling experience to be around all of these great practitioners. So I'm super excited. And do keep in mind, about half the people that join the integrative health practitioner have no experience in health coaching. So this is a way to get yourself that experience, to get yourself that knowledge as well. All right, let's move on now to our Friday review in terms of product reviews and research. I actually want to do the product review first, because I was looking back through my previous podcast, and I cannot believe that I've never recommended this product. But again, there's so many great products out there that I love talking about because I use in my own practice. So this will be 3 days ago. Well, I was using this actually with a client and myself as well. But it's something called the Pro Stretch. The Pro Stretch is a calf. So basically, there's a muscle in the back of your lower leg called the soleus. And that's a deeper muscle that kind of goes under the bigger part of your calf as well, which is called the gastrocnemius. You don't need to know what they are or where they are, but you should just know that they can get tight. And they get tight because of improper shoes, and they get tight because if you have any type of heel on your shoe or sneaker or high heel or anything like that, you actually keep the calf in more of a contracted position. So this leads to less ankle mobility as well as less calf flexibility. So why I love the Pro Stretch, it's an inexpensive stretching-based tool that anyone can use. You place your heel into it. It almost looks like when you used to get your foot sized for shoes. You'd put your foot on that little like silver contraption, and then they would push down the little lever. Well, that's what it looks like. You put your heel against this little clasp, and then you bend your foot against it, and what you do is you keep your knees straight. That's how I do it. I keep my knees straight. I push that foot forward, keeping the knee straight to stretch that gastrocnemius and all the muscles behind the calf. There's a little bit of Achilles stretch, and I'll talk about that in a moment. And I do that for about 60 seconds. And then, without moving any part of the body, I bend the knee towards the toes very slowly, and I stretch out that Achilles, the calcaneus, the heel connections to the Achilles tendon, and you get a great stretch through those calves. Now, that will help you with your squats. It will help you with your lunges. Pretty amazing device, inexpensive, and it's easily, if you're someone that's using a wall right now or the curb if you're running, anything like that to stretch out your calves, this is a safer way to do it and a much gentler way to stretch into it, and it's highly effective. Why do I know about this? Well, before I got very, very sick, part of the reason I got sick is I had all these things go on all at once, right? So I filled up my rain barrel really fast. Well, I was running cross country my senior year of high school, and this was in September. I got sick later in the fall, and I tore my Achilles tendon. That was the end of my essentially running career. And when I was rehabbing it, I was using something called a slide board that I haven't talked about yet, but I was using the Pro Stretch. The Pro Stretch was allowing me along with physical therapy, TENS unit-based therapy, and deep massage to get rid of a lot of the scar tissue that built up. So again, and then I have the same one. So talk about indestructible, right? For over 20 years, I've had the same Pro Stretch. It's pretty hilarious. And they don't even make the color anymore. It was like this light green, which is like this odd green color. So now they have a blue color, and I'm going to link that up today. And again, just a great product to keep in your workout arsenal at home or in your gym bag. It's not that heavy. Okay, so let's move on now to some of the research. Okay, one of the things that we work on in my private practice is something called macular degeneration. And macular degeneration is just a fancy name we have in medicine that talks about blurred vision through or partial vision loss through the eyes beginning to age because of lipomas, because of retina-based issues, because of free radical damage. And so what happens is you get some vision loss and you start to see waviness with your vision, and you can get some blurred vision, distorted vision, and you have more difficulty seeing in the darkness. Well, when we look at whole food nutrition and antioxidants, one of the great studies that was done, and I want to read this to you, this is by Dr. Gopinath, it's Gopinath, and this is through the, let's just give you this, that is through the Westmead Institute for Medical Research in Westmead, Australia. And all my Australian friends out there can joke around with me if I pronounced Westmead incorrectly. And this was actually published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition, so obviously a very well-reputed journal. Here's what it said. Here's the short of it. People who consumed at least one orange daily were 60% less likely to have age-related macular degeneration 15 years later, so a long-term study, than those who did not eat oranges. The protective effect may be due to the flavonoids, or flavonoids as some people like to say, in oranges. No benefit was found from consuming other flavonoid-rich foods such as apples, right? So pretty phenomenal. So what we're looking at, and I would say that probably would extend across grapefruits and other types of citrus fruit, but I don't know that for sure. But we know for sure that it works with oranges. So that's when people ask me, like, which fruit is best? And I say to them, there's no one best fruit, right? There's no one best vegetable. I can say, if I had to move you towards one, if I had to give you an answer, for sure it's moving you towards broccoli, right? Broccoli heads, not the stem, the broccoli head for a vegetable. But there's no one best because that's a green one. Well, what about your white-based vegetables? What about your orange vegetables? What about the yellows? What about the blues and purples? You need all of them because all of them have something called anthocyanins or different types of phytonutrients and plant-based chemicals. And the antioxidants and some of these anthocyanins are actually what give them their color, right? So when we look at, let's just talk about krill or wild salmon, we get something called astaxanthin. And astaxanthin is a very powerful antioxidant, or it has antioxidant-based potential that helps with everything from rheumatoid arthritis to, and all types of degenerative disease. So I can never give you a favorite. I can't give you a best. So what am I saying when I bring up studies like this? Well, I say if you have a family history of macular degeneration, would it be a bad idea for you to maybe eat one orange like once a day or every other day in addition to berries and other types of fruit? I would say that would be a great idea. And again, it goes back to when I did that podcast. I do hope you tuned into previous podcasts. You can go to stephencabral.com/podcast and simply type in, well, you can type in your search word, but you can also just scroll back and look at all the podcasts. Well, I did one called The Only Proven Anti-Cancer Diet, and it's been one of our more popular ones. And all of these studies, again, I'll talk about this more in the future. All of the studies always relate back to fruit and vegetables. You're not going to find the anti-aging and anti-cancer study that says the people that eat the most bacon live the longest or have the least amount of cancer. You're just not going to find it. Now, I'm not hating on bacon, right? I love the taste of bacon. I'm not going to lie to you. Do I eat a lot of bacon or hardly any? Yeah, I don't eat hardly any. I mean, it's a rare occasion if I have a piece of bacon. And it's not because I don't love it, right? I enjoy it. But what I'm trying to do are put healthier foods in my body. And so for me, I make the conscious decision, what am I choosing? Am I choosing the temporary taste buds or am I choosing long-term, hopefully, health, right? We never know. None of that is a given. You can always do your best and sometimes things happen. There's no doubt about that. We cannot control that. But we can always look back and say, hey, I did the right thing. to the best of my ability as much as I could so I can't have any regrets. That's all I want. I'm not perfect 100% of the time, nor will I ever be, because I also don't choose to be, right? I still choose, like last night I went out with 3 of my friends, right? We went out celebrating the holidays. We had a great dinner, and I had one drink, they had multiple drinks, right? But I chose to do that. I don't have alcohol often, but I decided to that night. And I ate a pretty healthy dinner. That was what I chose to do, and I started with vegetables. I started with bok choy and some of my favorite vegetables, and then I had some stuff that was less healthy, right? A little bit of fried in there, even though it was a decent choice, right, in terms of vegetables. But that's what I chose to do. And I will continue to choose what I feel is weighing those risks and balances, right? So I wanted to go out and I wanted to enjoy and I wanted to do all that. That's exactly what I did. And I had an amazing night with my friends. So now what do? Well, the next day I'm just back in my routine, right? I'm not letting it add up and multiply. So I don't know how I got on that little tangent right there, but that is the study on macular degeneration and oranges. Now let's bring you one more. Because yesterday, and I hope you tuned into this, because this was on episode 1049, and it was called Use These Proven Exercises to Overcome Depression. Why is this important? Well, you have to understand that there's so many more options available to you than pharmaceutical drugs. And I talked about that yesterday on the show. Okay, so let's give you one more for depression. I looked up and I said, let me just give you one more, because there are hundreds, right? One more. Saffron. If you've heard of the spice saffron, it is a delicious spice. I think originating actually from more of the Middle East. Of course, they used it in India as well, and they absolutely used it in Ayurveda. And I had a lot of it when I was over in India as well. One of my favorite spices. It's not an inexpensive spice, but one of my favorite spices. Okay. These clinical trials and published data came from the Neuropsychiatric Disease and Treatment. That's the name where it was published. It was published in a publication called Neuropsychiatric Disease and Treatment. That's exactly where it was published. And let me give you the mechanisms by how saffron works. Okay. So saffron works by its active ingredients. These are plant-based nutrients called safranal and crocin or crocin. And what they do is they actually boost neurotransmitters, such as and specifically serotonin, which is what helps to alleviate depression-based symptoms or depressive-based symptoms. It has also been shown to reduce neuroinflammation, which simply means it reduces inflammation of the nervous system, and low-grade brain inflammation, which may lead to more dementia and depression and mood and brain-based issues in the future. So if you're using the supplement form of that, and I have not used the supplement form of saffron, I simply recommend it as a spice because you can go to your local Whole Foods or Sprouts or whatever the natural place is that you try to shop at. And you can look for organic saffron, and you can just add it to your food. It doesn't always have to be in capsule form. Like you can eat oregano and thyme and saffron. Like these are great spices to add to your food. And you get the mood-boosting benefits from that. And things like thyme and oregano, you get the immune system boosting, but you also get the destroying of pathogenic bacteria and yeast. So, I just want to bring you more options. And saffron is one of those things now shown to be effective with depression and does not come along with the side effects that many antidepressant drugs do, such as the weight gain, the IBS, the low libido, the insomnia, the anxiety, all of those issues, right? What we've seen with saffron, that the potential negative side effects might be a little lightheadedness, okay? So do check for that. If you start taking in saffron, you start to feel a little lightheaded, we want to look for that because actually your dosage might be a little too high for your body. You're producing extra serotonin. So we want to look at that as well. And again, there's no one silver bullet for sure for depression. What we want to look at is overall lifestyle change. I spoke about yesterday with exercise, with therapy, and with many different things. And I think that they're all great and they can all have a huge exponential benefit without a doubt. So love just being able to bring you more natural health resources. And honestly, that could be our super nutrient of the week because saffron's such a great anti-inflammatory. However, I want to bring you one of my favorite super nutrients of the week. I went back through my whole list since January. At the end of the year, I'll publish the list that went from 1/5/18. I can't believe it's already been a year, all the way through. The last one will be on 12/28 next week, next Friday. So this one today is going to be on one of my favorite forms of fiber to use from a clinical perspective, and that is none other than psyllium husk. Psyllium Husk is an amazing product that I started using many years ago when I was doing nutrition consulting and coaching well before I even got into naturopathic-based medicine. So what I was using it for back then was for weight loss, cholesterol, blood pressure, and overall IBS-based symptoms. Now again, was I treating, curing, or diagnosing those diseases? Of course not, right? But I was looking at the underlying mechanisms of how Psyllium Husk works. Well, it has both an insoluble and soluble fiber aspect to it. That means some of the fiber is broken down and some isn't. For the fiber that isn't broken down too, it actually creates a nice gel-like consistency in the bowels, which helps counteract two issues. One is constipation and the other is diarrhea. It's amazing that it almost has adaptogenic qualities that can help for both sides of the spectrum, right? If you have constipation, it can actually draw water into the intestines, which you may need, and the bulk creates more of a peristaltic movement. Now, if you have too much water in the bowels, because too much is brought in because of improper pH, lower acid will actually draw more water into the bowels. Maybe you're not producing enough bile. That's a different story to look at, right, with your health coach. Then what it does is it actually helps to absorb some of that water. So it helps with the diarrhea and it helps bring in water too with the constipation. And those are just some of the effects. The other thing it does is called muscarinic receptors. So basically what it does is it binds to those receptors, which can actually help with more of that peristaltic movement for those people with the constipation. So it works by getting that motility going in the bowels. So we look at everything in my practice, and if people are suffering from diarrhea or constipation, we are not hesitant at all about using Psyllium Husk fiber. Why would one of the only reasons be we don't use it? Well, we don't use it in the beginning of our Candida and bacterial overgrowth protocol. And the reason is that Psyllium Husk actually works as a great prebiotic fiber. So since we're trying to reduce a little bit, even though it's not a fructose-based one, we just try to reduce it for the first 4 weeks. So after the first 4 to 6 weeks, then we'll add in the Psyllium Husk fiber as our only variable, and we'll say, do you get better results from it, neutral results, or do you start to get bloating when you add it in? If you get bloating when you add it in, we'll cut the dosage in half. If you still have irritability with the dosage cut in half, then we remove it completely until you finish the Candida and bacterial overgrowth protocol, and then we ease it back in 1 capsule at a time. You can also do the powdered form as well. You can actually empty capsules if you want and just put it in a smoothie. You can just add it to water. Just make sure whenever you use Psyllium Husk that you take it with a full glass of water because it does expand, right? It's a fiber, and really, really important to look at that. Well, there's so many clinical studies, so I'd love for you, again, my job is to bring the information to you, right? To bring the information to you. If you want more information on all of these, you can simply type in Psyllium Husk and constipation, Psyllium Husk and diarrhea, Psyllium Husk and blood sugar, which I didn't even talk about, Psyllium Husk and weight loss. Now, again, I was talking about how I used that previously in the past. One is it helps with satiation. Another, again, it helps with bowel motility. And of course, we use probiotics as well. So it acts as a great prebiotic for that. It helps with cholesterol that I spoke about. It helps with blood pressure that I spoke about. So again, you can just go online and type in Psyllium Husk and blood pressure, and you'll get to see all sorts of great studies that show that as well. Same with IBS, ulcerative colitis. But we use it for all of the above and digestive issues and people with a history of colon cancer. One of the best things you can do is preventative-based medicine. And if you have a history of colon cancer, we need you to make sure that you ran a stool test, that you made sure that you ran an organic acids test. Let's get that microbiome balanced, okay? Then after that, we want to make sure you have a good probiotic. The daily probiotic support would do that. And then after that, we want to use the healthy gut support to make sure we heal and seal that gut wall, right? That's our CBO finisher, our heal and seal. And then we want to use a good fiber every day. Yes, plants and vegetables, they have their own prebiotic fiber. Amazing. But if you're someone that suffers from potentially a family history of colon cancer and you have high cholesterol, you're prone to that, why not use a little Psyllium Husk fiber? So amazing product. We're looking to manufacture one in the future. We currently do not. We're looking for one that passes a mold purity test and a heavy metal purity test. The problem with Psyllium Husk fiber is that you need to find a reputable brand because Psyllium Husk can grow mold, and Psyllium Husk can be contained with heavy metal. What I'm going to do today is give you one of the brands that I recommend, and I will link it up today at stevencabral.com/1050. Appreciate you tuning in today. I'm always happy to do these Friday reviews. Just love bringing you a bunch of tidbits, which usually it's kind of one main point per show. Love being able to bring you a bunch of different things that ordinarily I wouldn't be able to. I hope you have an amazing weekend. If you're celebrating Christmas or any other holidays coming up this next week, I wish you the best. I wish your family a happy holiday and a great celebration right into the new year. But of course, the Cabral Concept is not going to stop. Every day, I will still be bringing you one new episode of the Cabral Concept. Thank you so much. Have an amazing weekend, and be sure to tune in tomorrow where we have our first host call of the weekend. Take care. I want to sincerely thank you for your support of this podcast. I couldn't do it without you, and I mean that. I truly do. I also want to make sure you knew that we now have multiple ways for you to find your answers to the most difficult health, wellness, weight loss, and anti-aging questions. You can find podcast-specific topics like thyroid, adrenal, hormones, sleep, digestion, Ayurveda, and many more at stevencabral.com/podcasts that will then link you to your favorite Apple, Spotify, and other podcast players. Plus, all new podcasts and weekly exclusive video content is being added to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/Stephen Cabral. And that's Stephen with a PH. Head on over and subscribe so that you don't miss any of the exclusive content. Lastly, if you've ever found any of my podcasts or books to be helpful, I would really appreciate it if you could leave a review on iTunes or your favorite media player for the podcast. Rating and subscribing to the YouTube and podcast allow me to reach more and more people and help spread my mission of healing throughout the world. Thank you again for being a part of this movement.